entity. That's not unlikely. Because if you're killed, for example, you see, there's different ways of dying. If you just die suddenly, natural, it is most likely that the projecting karma, because no other factor has been involved, you just drop dead. Your heart just stops.
Naturally, it's usually the process. This is what the Buddha said. You don't die on the spot.
He didn't escape the process. When he died, he had the process of death. That's a different thing. He went to the process of dissolving.
Yes, but it's the best thing, if we have the merit, to do the process slowly, dissolve on the other
No, but I mean, but...
Sudden death is not such a good...
No, but I don't mean sudden death as in like, I don't know whether he went through the process. No, I'm saying he was not sick. No one killed him. Just one day. I mean, he may have gone through the process. Like some lamas, when they die, I mean, there's no sickness. They suddenly just sit down to meditate and they go. And he may have been in the body for a while. We don't know that. I'm not saying it was like sudden as in like one day consciousness was there and suddenly it was gone. I didn't mean that. I just meant there was no other external condition that was obvious that could have led to his death. Because what I'm actually addressing here is the idea is that there's a maximum lifetime that is responsible for how long we live, but you could die earlier than that, called premature death. So premature death means that there's two reasons for that. One reason is that another karma ripens. A karma of killing, for example, may ripen such that one dies a premature death. One has an accident, one is killed, or, that could be a reason. We don't know. It could also be that being killed was actually just a condition, but the reason they actually died was the projecting karma was exhausted. That's also a possibility. We don't know, right? A lama could maybe determine that. We don't know. But it's just more likely if there's no external factor and you're just dead, then I think that it's more likely that it's an exhaustion of the projecting karma. But other than that, as I said, it could also be a premature death which is caused by someone which is caused by another karma ripening of a sudden death. Or it could be that the merit that is needed, the positive potential that is needed to stay alive is exhausted. So we need all those factors. We need a projecting karma with a certain lifespan. We need to be free from obstacles that could possibly kill us. And we need to have sufficient positive karma to stay alive.
So when we pray for the long life of the Lama, it is just in order to replenish them with merit or something like this?
It depends on who the Lama is. You see, it depends on who the Lama is. When we pray for the long life of the Lama, we're talking about highly advanced beings who are not under the control of karma and afflictions and so forth. It's up to us that they stay alive.
Like we say, okay, please remain here and
Yeah. So they have the control to. So this is talking not about ordinary beings. We ordinarily stay alive as long as our karma allows, depending on our merit and so forth. But like I said, this is just an ordinary state, and we can go beyond that. We can move beyond our ordinary existence and become bodhisattvas, for example. And once you're a bodhisattva and you've realized reality directly, then you have control where you're reborn. And you're reborn because of compassion and prayer. You want to be reborn somewhere. Like the Karmapa, for example. As soon as the Karmapa, he left a note exactly where he's going to be reborn. He left a note behind, which was given to Taisita Rinpoche, who didn't know. He thought it was just a blessing. It was given to him by the former Karmapa, by the 16th Karmapa. So it was given to him in the form of like a blessing. It looked like a piece of paper where you usually have a mandala. There's a mandala picture, and you fold it up and you put it as like a blessing. That's how far I remember. So you never look at it. You assume there's a mandala inside, and you keep that around your neck as a blessing. But one day he remembered, and usually the Karmapas always leave behind a message where they're going to be reborn, and they couldn't find the message. So they didn't know where it was. They looked everywhere and they couldn't find it. And one day Taisita Rinpoche had a vision or a dream, or maybe he just remembered. I forget the details. You can read these details in a book. He remembered and thought, oh, wait a minute. He gave me this. I've never really looked into it. Usually they don't do that. But he opened it up, and there it said exactly, I'm going to be reborn in this year, at this time, in that family. My father's name will be this. My mother's name will be this. I mean, how can you predict that? How can I predict in 15 years' time there'll be someone born in that family, there'll be a man called this, married to a woman called this, and on that day they have a child called da-da-da-da-da. I mean, even if I'm not reborn in that family, how can I predict this is going to happen? So he totally predicted. They went to Tibet, they found exactly that husband, that wife, having a child, being born on that day, and sure enough, he passed the test of the Karmapa, and that's the Karmapa now. So this shows that there are beings who are able to choose their rebirth, right? And I mean, if you look at the Dalai Lamas, the different Dalai Lamas, again and again, it's pretty sure that they have chosen their rebirth. They've made a choice, and they were reborn there for the benefit of others. Yeah, and then that's why His Holiness says, if it's beneficial, the Dalai Lama will be reborn as a woman. I mean, he says that, which is kind of implying there's a choice, which I can never tell you what I'm going to be reborn as. Yeah, maybe as a frog, but, who knows? Hopefully not, but you never know, right? Yeah, so anyway, there is a time when there's a choice, and that's when there's a choice. They come back for us. Those great beings, they come back for us. So then we make prayers, so we have the merit that they stay around us. Yeah, it's again just concerning us. Okay? All right. Anyway, projecting karma. So having just explained projecting karma, here the next division is into projecting karma can be divided into meritorious, non-meritorious, and immovable karma. Okay, never mind, I don't need to explain those here. I'm still positive I can go a little further. So you can read those and that you'll understand them. It's not that difficult. But I want to explain the fifth point. Also, Orit had a question with regard to the fifth point. Yesterday she mentioned it, so hopefully this can be cleared now. Karma that will definitely be experienced and that which will not necessarily be experienced. This is on page 92. Page 92. Karma that will definitely be experienced and that which will not necessarily be experienced. Okay. What does that mean? This is a little weird. It talks about karma that is done and karma that is accumulated. Karma that is done and karma that is accumulated. Doesn't make much sense, really. It seems to be saying the same thing here. Karma that is done and karma that is accumulated. Okay. Well, basically the difference is that if you have the intention to do something, then a karma is done. Okay? Because you have the intention, you plan it. That's described as an action that is done. But if you never do what you plan to do, the karma is not accumulated. Right? There's a difference. So sometimes we do something, we accumulate a karma, but we don't do so intentionally. Right? We accumulate something, we do an action. So for example, if I unintentionally kill someone, I don't accumulate the karma of killing, but there's still an action, right? There's an action accumulated. So therefore it's not done, but it's accumulated. See what I'm saying? But it's not the karma of killing. So it's actually just saying there's a difference between a fully planned action that is fully then executed, or fully planning it and not executing it without planning, and neither executing it, not planning. Yeah? So there's always these two aspects. In order to express this, that's why we have this explanation. So karma that will definitely be experienced is the one that is done and accumulated. It means here that you have the complete action. Now, definitely experience means as long as it's not purified or in other ways destroyed. But when we talk about the action of killing, for the action of killing to be complete, you have to have a plan to kill someone, and you need to execute the killing. If one of those is missing, you still accumulate some karma, but not the full karma of killing. Okay? It's just a half cover of a half killing or whatever. Yes, exactly. Who said that? Can you say again? Yeah, like a second degree killing, exactly. Yes, that's it. Third degree and so forth. Exactly. So true. The first degree would really be like, yes, there's even a word for it. First degree killing. Done intentionally, done and accumulated. Murder, exactly. Yes. Okay. So karma that will definitely be experienced and that which will not be necessarily experienced refer to volitional actions that are either virtuous or non-virtuous. The difference between the two types is explained in Asanga's levels of yogic deeds. Okay, so karma, the result of which you definitely will experience, is that which is done intentionally and accumulated. Okay? So definitely means unless you purify it or unless you destroy it. But the karma is complete when you have the intention to do so and you actually engage in the action. Karma, the result of which will not definitely be experienced, the karma of, I had an editor, but it's impossible. The editor did an incredible job, but even then, sometimes some things are just not caught. Okay. Is that which is intentionally done but not accumulated. Okay. Karma that is accumulated is explained in Asanga's levels of yogic deeds as being any karma that is not one of the following. So the ones that are now listed are not accumulated karma. Okay? It's a little weird, the way of talking. Like, this is a list of things that are when you don't accumulate. So actions that are done in dreams. Don't worry. Anything you dream about, no problem. Those done unknowingly. Of course, makes sense. Those done unconsciously. Yeah, of course, obviously. Those done without intensity or not continuously. So it lacks intensity or continuation. Those done erroneously, by mistake, obviously. Those done forgetfully. You forgot and you just went ahead and you did it. Again, it's not fully accumulated. Those done without wanting to. So this would, the soldier, exactly. I was thinking about this. You don't want to, but you're forced to. It's not the full karma. Those done without. Those naturally ethically neutral, and those cleared away through regret, and those that have been cleared away with an antidote. So in other words, if you can have a full murder, if you generate regret afterwards, the karma, you still go to prison. The regret is not enough. Though sometimes it has an effect on even from a judicial or what do you call it? A legitimate, no, what's the word? Point of view of the justice system of a country, for lack of a better word. So even from a point of view of the judicial system of a country, if you murder someone and you show regret, the punishment is not as bad. So there's a natural sense that the action is not as bad because you've accumulated, because you've generated regret. That's the same in the sense of karma, that it's reduced. Okay. All right. Anyway, so then there's this whole list of like killing that is done but not accumulated is killing that is done unknowingly. So in Asanga's Compendium of Determinations, it's another text by Asanga, he gives this list, and I only mention them briefly. Killing that is done but not accumulated is killing that is done unknowingly. I've explained it differently before. I said it exactly the other way around. I explained it to you wrongly, sorry. Accumulated means you have the intention to do so, and doing it is actually engaging in the act. Does that make sense? Does not make sense. Yeah, I know, because the two words are so similar, I also get confused. So the words are very similar. To accumulate an action as opposed to doing an action. So I explained it to you the other way around. Sorry for that confusion. Accumulating is the heavier part of it. It means you have the motivation to do so. You have the motivation to do so. If you have the motivation to do so, you accumulate an action. But it doesn't mean you do it. So if you don't do it, it means you may have the plan to kill someone. You've totally planned it. So that is the action of killing is accumulated, but not done. Because you don't kill the person. Whereas if you do it without planning to kill someone, then the act of killing is done, but it's not accumulated. You don't accumulate really an act of killing because you did so unknowingly. Does that make sense? Yeah. Intention is the most important. So whether you accumulate it, but of course it's never a complete action altogether, but still you would say an action that is accumulated, you accumulate the action of killing by planning it, but you don't kill the person, you don't get the full karma of killing, of course, obviously. Okay. Anyway, so therefore here you have this list. Killing that is done but not accumulated is killing that is done unknowingly. Killing that is accumulated but not done is when you plan to kill someone. You have all the kind of you have everything is there, but you never get to kill them. Killing that is both accumulated and done is, well, obviously, planning to do it and doing it. And then the last one is neither planning it nor doing it. Okay? So yes, exactly as Shuki said, the intention is what counts. Yeah? So again, just to warn us, that's most important. If you have the intention to beat someone up, that's not as bad as someone beating someone up, but still not a good idea to have those thoughts. So I guess in a way, what is the message behind this? It's saying, even just imagining you're doing something to someone, better not. I mean, that in itself also holds a weighty can have a weighty negative karma. So sometimes we're so mad with someone, we visualize what we may do to them. Not a good idea, because it keeps a habit is grown. We may actually do it one day to them, and even if we don't, we accumulate some negativity. Yes?
Is it right about karma that we can change it by the way we react to things that happen to us?
Oh! Okay, can we change a karma by reacting differently? No. In a way, it depends what you mean, really, but if now I do something negative to you, your karma has ripened. You can't change that any longer. But by the way you react, you can now make sure you don't create the same karma again, and possibly weaken the first karma that potentially could ripen again in being treated that way. That could be purified in that way. You see what I'm saying? So, but once you experience a result of something, you've experienced it. What else you can do? I'll give you another example. When you experience a suffering, let's say, for example, I offend you. Now, the offense itself is a result of the karma, but more importantly, the way you feel in that moment. But you could choose to kind of reflect and go, I don't want to feel that way. I don't need to feel in that way. It's just the ripening of a karma, and so you shorten that. Almost like initially you're like, oh, there's a feeling of hurt, but then you start thinking, and you're actually able to transform it. So you do change in that moment. If you hadn't transformed your way of thinking in that moment, you would continue maybe be upset about it and go on and on about it. But instead you go, oh, okay, this happened, and okay, I accept this, I've done this, and then you just you transform it. So in that way you do change it, if you like. Yeah. Yes, last one.
Talking about the importance of the
intention? Yes.
And I feel it's very easy to manipulate yourself, especially when you're talking a lot of the benefits of having compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel maybe for myself it's very easy to manipulate myself and think I'm doing something for someone else's benefits, but actually I know it's my own, so it's very tricky.
It's not that tricky because you've been able to identify it. You said you know. So of course you can.
For that reason, so how is it with my karma? If I get into this...
Well, it's not going to be as positive as you would like it to be. Because I do it for them, but actually I do it for myself. So you already know, actually, right? You can deceive yourself to some degree, but really, no. Yeah, it's always somewhere. You're right, because there's always the self-grasping. Okay? That is always there. To tell you the truth, to have pure generosity, very difficult. Pure generosity just for the sake of giving. You give for the sake of giving. That's it. Right? I mean, there will always be like, oh, I hope someone saw me, or I hope people think I'm great. It'll always slip in there. I hope I collect merit. Yeah, so that I'll be happier. Right? All that is always there. But we do what we can, and it gets purer as we go along. It gets better. So, sorry, I know Rit probably still has a question. Can we do that the first thing after lunch? Because it's 12:10. Sorry. So, we'll see again. So, let's just do a brief dedication again to dedicate for Shoshi, Dani's wife, who has cancer, and again for anyone else may they get better, and for our own enlightenment, so that we be able to be of benefit to all sentient beings.
בזכות חסד זה אלו השיג במהרה
Mm-hmm.